fun in painting.
So I'm here this week doing another painting, another little warm-up painting in my pocket moleskin sketchbook, which is really filling up now. It's nearly halfway done. It was probably an hour and a half of painting in the end. I don't do a lot of figures, and this isn't even a full figure, but it was something slightly different for me to work on, and just really wanted to think about slightly different structures and shapes. Not so much associated with portraiture. It was also about me thinking and trying out things with transparent oxide red, which is obviously very dominant in this, and how useful it is for making viable skin tones with just a little white or a little Naples yellow and radiant turquoise, for example. And it was fun to do in this little painting. It's cool how quickly we can get there with a nice warm kind of tone. So transparent oxide red, I've made a video on it before, but it is still easily my favourite pigment at the moment. I just wish it wasn't so bossy, right? Sometimes it can really overwhelm things. But if you can keep it under control, yeah man, it's so good, so juicy, so earthy. But I'm also going to talk about something else while this is building up in the background. And that's something I briefly mentioned in the previous video, which is about Cainho and the exhibition in Peckham. So I'm going to talk a bit about Cainho again. This time is something more immediately relevant as it is October. So maybe you're a sketchbooker, maybe you paint, maybe you draw, then you might know about Inktober. It's been going on for years. I'm not even really sure the origin story, but it's effectively people doing a sketch every day in a sketchbook driven by a series of prompts, with the idea being it's pen and ink. But over time, I think people got frustrated by this Inktober thing. Different creators or artists would have like prompts, a series of 30 prompts. I don't know, I think it just started to feel, certainly between me and my pals, started to feel oppressive. Not that I was even doing it, but it sort of felt like, wait, why are we doing, these prompts just feel a bit daft, and kind of just feels like you're blowing someone's ego up by following it. So we thought we would do something different, or as part of a Cainho sketchbook challenge, Cainho sketch it. Because that community's good and it's nice to be engaging, but who's going to write the prompts? How are we ever going to agree? So we went down a different road. We went down the idea of saying, okay, the goal is to finish a sketchbook in October. You don't have to do it every day. You could do it the whole sketchbook on the 30th of October. That's fine. It doesn't really matter how long the sketchbook is, although this year we did say 31 pages. And that's because Luke has made some prizes and you can actually win something by taking part. So yeah, 31 pages I think it was. Fill the sketchbook. We have a Telegram chat where we share progress and encourage each other, maybe make fun of each other sometimes. But it's quite a fun place. It's nice. I like it because it's not all about quality. It's about the doing. And that is the goal. That is the important lesson to learn. That I think it's lost in Inktober challenges. We're just kind of reacting to prompts like some kind of, biological mid-journey. I think it's much better to just say, hey, this is about practice. This is about art practice. Getting into habits and rhythms. I've heard it said it takes 21 days to form a habit. Perfect. October, 31 days. You can get a really good habit going of daily drawing. At least one a day. Hence 31 pages. And that is what it's about. It's about daily practice. But the subjects and the rhythm, if you're doing it daily or just doing it at the weekends, that can kind of be up to you. So you can make it into your own thing. And I think that's much better. I think something of this daily drawing compartmentalization is really a kind of function of social media, right? The posts, everything's discrete and atomized. I much prefer the idea of saying, okay, here's a piece of time and an object, this 31-page book, make something, produce something. And it can be much more whatever you want it to be. It's not tailored to fit into a kind of daily posting schedule. Now I know that that's probably Inktober defenders will say, no, that's not what it's about. But I think it is unconsciously a little bit about that. Or at least it feeds into it accidentally. So I much prefer this way. And if you're interested in seeing what I did last year, the sketchbook that I filled, I have that tour of that, which I'll link or something. But if you are interested in joining in, I'm going to put the link to that Telegram chat in the description. And I'm also going to endeavour to post here updates on how I'm getting on, because I'm going to post every week from now on. I'm going to post updates of how I'm getting on in the sketchbook. So if you want to do it, join us, check in with me. It should be good fun. And yeah, it remains to be seen if I'll even be able to do it. It's always touch and go. But you can check back on that video from last year to see the vibe. Anyways, thanks for joining this week. More next week, more paintings in sketchbook next week, and a few other bits from around the studio. And I guess I'll update you on the sketchbook progress too. Alright, see you later.